All right, I think we're going to get started here. It is 3 after the hour, and I know you all are so busy, so thank you so much for taking the time to join us on this Wednesday morning/afternoon. This is Ready, Set, Grow, how to get full accounts through digital marketing. And before we begin, if you are just joining, you can use the Q&A at the bottom of your screen. Just hover over the icon, and that will give you a way to ask us questions directly. We do have a Q&A that is going to follow. Ryan and I have committed to sticking around for an extra half hour. So if you have burning questions that just can't wait, feel free to join or stick around for that. We will record this session and we will send this out tomorrow along with all of the resources that we discussed today, a couple of case studies, the slide from the presentation, and make sure that we get that in your hands. So if you need to leave early, that's totally okay. My name is Nikki Acosta. I am the Director of Marketing at Skimmer, and I am joined today by our good friend Ryan Flannery, who is a CEO at Pulmonopoly based out of Phoenix. And again, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. A little bit about Skimmer. We are now servicing close to 27,000 pool service professionals in primarily the United States. We serve customers in every state, including Alaska and Hawaii. And we are here to help you build a better business. If you are new to Skimmer and you'd like a demo, feel free to give us a call or reach out and we'd be happy to set you up with a demo. We do offer a 30-day risk-free trial. If you're already using Skimmer, thank you so much for being a valued customer. I'm going to turn it over to you, Ryan, to introduce yourself a little bit.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you for having me, Nikki. I really appreciate it. My name is Ryan. My business partner is Reese. He's the pool guy in the situation. So a little bit about us. We founded our pool company here back in December of 2021 in Scottsdale, Arizona. We were in the space for just under 2 years before we sold. We acquired a lot of routes along the way, everything organically through digital ads, all the stuff that we're going to kind of talk about today for all of you guys. We never bought any routes, and we never used any brokers to sell our company or routes individually either. So right now we service right around 100 agency clients in 12 states. It's a lot of people. We have a great team. We have a couple admin. We have a good sales guy. We've got a bunch of awesome people here that work really hard to try to get everyone as dialed in as possible. So many states and probably even some more that we can start servicing, and maybe some of you guys. So we've also referred hundreds of clients to Skimmer. About 80% of our clients use Skimmer. We do have some people that don't. Some people that maybe even use pen and paper still, but most people do use it. So it's pretty awesome, and we're pretty happy for this partnership. It's just been really fun getting this thing ready, and I'm really happy to be here. So thank you guys for listening, and I hope it's pretty informative. I'm sure you guys have probably seen us online, all of our weird ads, YouTube stuff, all that, and we're just a couple of marketing nerds that somehow stumbled into the pool space, and we're loving all of it. It's been really fun. So yeah, we grew from 0 to 680 pools in less than 2 years. We're going to be talking about all the methods that we used to get there, which will be really cool. Like I said, we didn't buy any routes, nothing like that. So we'll go over all that stuff today. And if you guys have questions, we're happy to answer them. And yeah, let's get it rolling.
So we're going to start off with a quick poll just to get a pulse of where y'all are at. And we'll give you a few seconds to answer these. First question is, where are you in your digital marketing journey? And what have you leveraged to acquire new accounts? And feel free to check all that applies down there. I know there's quite a few options, so we'll give you a few seconds to respond.
Word of mouth is a lot.
Not a bad way to grow.
It's great. They're the best clients.
Ooh, looks like we've got a good portion of folks advertising on Meta and Google, which is great news. More than half of you are posting on social media. That's awesome. And it looks like about half of you have dabbled in some kind of digital marketing.
Very cool.
We'll give you a few more seconds. Oh, this is good. So I'm going to call it about 37% of you are just getting started. 47% of you have dabbled in digital marketing, and about 16% of you have got it dialed in, but you'd like to know more. And it looks like almost all of you are growing through word of mouth and referrals. About a quarter of you have bought routes. And about 35%, about a third of you are doing some form of advertising on either Meta or Google. And a quarter, just over a quarter, are using Yelp, Thumbtack, Nextdoors, or Angie's. But organic growth seems to be strong. That's great. All right, that's awesome. I think this will
Cool.
be a good overview, no matter where you're at in your journey. And it was great to get those responses. So thank you for that. All right, so why are we doing this? Well, we did this state pool service survey earlier this year that we launched in January. And what we discovered was that the data was consistent with what we've read in other reports, including the IBIS report, which is that as a whole, the pool service industry lags behind in the digital marketing space from other industries. There are a ton of you who will grow through referrals and social media. Next year, we'll have questions to break down as to whether that is paid social media or organic social media. But there seems to be a big opportunity for pool professionals to be first movers in their space. And we say first movers because digital advertising is going to be heavily dependent on your market area. If there are a lot of people in your area that are searching for pool services, but there are a lot of competitors who are also digital advertising in your area, that makes it slightly more difficult to kind of come up at the top of search results and be top of mind. What we have found, though, is the opposite, is that there are lots of markets in the US where there aren't many people advertising at all. And especially for you folks, you have an opportunity to dominate, especially if you have the capacity to grow right now. So that's a little bit about why we're doing this. And we're going to talk about quite a few things today, and we have a lot of content, so we will try to move through it as quickly as we can without going too fast. But we'll talk a little bit about building your brand, what goes into a great website. There's some new technologies that have come out, and part of what Ryan and his team do is leverage those technologies to increase lead count and response times. We're going to spend a lot of time on the digital marketing landscape and some of the channels that are available out there and what Ryan has seen in terms of which channels are performing the best. And we'll include kind of spend and cost per lead data on that. And then we'll wrap that up with a recap and a Q&A. And if you're just joining, Ryan and I have committed to stay some extra time if you would like to ask questions and stick around after the webinar officially ends. So first, let's talk about building your brand. Here at Skimmer, brand is super important to us. And if you have been with us for a while, you've probably seen our brand evolve like brands do. Brand is more than just your logo. It's more than just your website. It is how you present yourself to the world. And a good brand can help you earn trust, build loyalty, differentiate you from your competitors, and build brand recognition. All of the data suggests that having a great brand will lead to more revenue, a better reputation. And so having a good brand at the outset and throughout your journey is super, super important. You'll see some brand personality traits over here. And if you think about the brands that you know and love, they probably have some kind of feel to them. Your brand is going to be the tone that you use in your communications, the images that you choose to show. If you think about like the real estate world, there's super poshy high-end real estate people. They want to be very professional and sophisticated. And then there's other companies that are probably more fun and informal and helpful. So there's a wide range of brand personality traits that you can tap into. Pick a few of them and stick to them, right? And make that a part of your brand. You want someone to feel something when they see your brand, because the second that you can create some kind of emotion, you will have a better reaction from people who are ready to take action. If we look across brand channels, next slide, Ryan. Your brand should be able to convey your shared values, vision, and purpose across the entire buyer journey. So this goes from pre-purchase, things like your social media, emails that you might send, campaigns you might run, down to purchase. When you're going to visit a client, how are you presenting yourself? This comes down to things like what you're wearing, do you have a branded truck or not? If you're sending out quotes, is your logo and your contact information consistent there? Is your brand prominent across your post-purchase communications, including things like your service emails and what you choose to do as far as collecting reviews and the products and services that you offer? So really, you want your brand to be consistent across all of these things. And that will come down to things like your logo, your website, but also how you show up in real life, and if you have a retail store as well. So Ryan, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about the anatomy of a great website. We mentioned that there are some cool technologies and methods for increasing leads and converting those leads, but this is your area of expertise, so I'm going to turn it over to you.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Nikki. I appreciate it. So we'll kind of go over website overview. We'll go over a bunch of stuff here. We're not going to make it too long. I could probably talk for 5 hours about this stuff, but a lot of this applies to landing pages as well as websites, which we'll go over the differences later on in the slides anyways. But the first thing here, it's kind of an interesting statistic. 76% of customers will look at a company's website and online presence before doing business with them. This is probably not that surprising in 2024. It's just very, very important to really understand the customer and understand that there's a lot of options for pool service now. There's tens of thousands of pool companies, and a lot of them do run ads, which we just saw on the poll. So it's important to be able to differentiate and really get your brand and get everything dialed in. And mainly your website is going to be a really, really big one, especially if you're, running ads and you're paying for lead vendors, you're doing all that good stuff. I really always like to say that, like, you can have the best website in the world, but if nobody sees it, then it really doesn't matter. So we'll kind of go into the hero page, which is the main page, call to actions, different things that we recommend putting on these websites. Professional logo, that's kind of an obvious one, but we'll go over it. Optimizing for mobile devices, who we are, why we're different, big versus small, services that y'all offer, positive or customer reviews, and then images on your website. So we'll go through all that stuff here, and hopefully it'll be pretty informative for you guys. So first one's the hero page. You only have 8 to 15 seconds to catch a prospect's attention that lands on your website before they leave. That's a website that we did for one of our clients here. It's a good one. It's converting pretty well, and they seem to like it quite a bit. Definitely unique colors, which is kind of helpful. So first things here on this, you're going to have the locations that you service. We really want to make sure that they are very easily able to see where you're located and what areas you service on the hero page without having to scroll anywhere. So if you only have 8 to 15 seconds to show them that, you're the right company, they're in the right area, all of those different things, they really need to know that very, very quickly, or else they'll leave and they won't really know if they're in the right place. So next one on the hero page is call to actions. We really recommend using things like free quote, new customer deal, maybe a seasonal special, right? Things like that are a lot better than just saying contact us or get quote or any of these things. We want to be able to make it so they're like, okay, this makes sense. This is a little more special than just contact us, because nobody wants to just contact you. They want to get something in return, because we know pool customers are greedy. So that's just how it is. So next one's going to be professional logo. This one's definitely pretty obvious, and we'll go into this, which is, not going to be too deep, but we'll go into it. Considering a new customer special or seasonal discount, that one is pretty important. Depending on the seasons of which you're running ads or et cetera, you can always change that. And we always like to put, like, whatever month that we're in is a new discount. That always helps quite a bit, because people are like, well, I've landed on this, and this is actually exactly where I'm meant to be, which is awesome. So we like doing that. Next thing is going to be visible/clickable phone numbers. This one seems pretty obvious, but we do get a lot of clients that come to us wanting to run ads, or they have a website, but the phone numbers are not clickable. And that's kind of a big deal. And we'll go over that on the mobile stuff as well, but make sure the visible phone numbers are on that first page, because a lot of people will just go and they'll just call you right from there. So you don't want them to have to scroll anywhere. You don't want to have to do any of that stuff. Next one's going to be chat widget. That's super important. We can install chat widgets for our clients. not too difficult. A lot of people do that nowadays, but people really do like that. Depending on what software you use, you can install the code pretty much on any website, and you'll be able to pull it all into your CRM, and everything will be pretty much good to go. Like for us, for example, somebody inquires on the chat widget, it will text our client and let them know someone inquired, and then it will also automatically text the prospect that inquired as well. So that makes it really easy and clean. People really like that because not everybody wants to call. A lot of people are scared to talk nowadays. So that's kind of a big one. All right, so professional logos. Professional logos are more important than people think. We have some interesting statistics here that Nikki and I came up with, and we can reference them later potentially. So a brand with a simple logo design is more likely to be recommended by 64% of consumers. That's super interesting. Makes complete sense. 90% of people are more likely to remember information when presented with a visual aid, making logo crucial for brand recall. Makes sense. Brand recognition achieved through logos can lead to a 30% higher customer retention rate. That's an interesting one. Hopefully this applies in the pool space. I'm sure it does. To the right is a couple logos that we like, and I think they're unique. They're pretty fun logos, which is cool. Both of them are clients of ours, and we really like these logos. They're definitely fun. If you have something more serious, then you're going to want to kind of obviously not make it so fun. It's a little bit of a different vibe, which is totally fine. It's kind of just up to you completely, but making them unique is honestly super, super important. All right, so mobile version. This one's an interesting one. This is an interesting statistic that we've seen. 65% of searches for pool service keywords on Google are made on mobile devices. So that's very interesting, but in 2024, it's probably not that surprising. We find that most people searching for new pool companies are usually at work during the day, or they're at home. They often pull their phone up and just do kind of a quick search. They probably saw their pool guy only put one tab in there instead of two. So they get on their phone and they just start looking for new pool service because they're just livid. So definitely seen that happen many times, but that's kind of an interesting concept. 65% is pretty large. So we want to make sure the mobile versions are really, really dialed in. They're probably even more important than desktop, to be honest with you. So next one here is click to call buttons. This one's also important. When someone searches for pool service and lands on your site, from mobile, usually 70% of the time people want to call. It's a lot easier and more convenient rather than filling out a form, typing all that information in on their smartphone. And kind of knowing how that's done, it's obviously important to have your call buttons mobile friendly, meaning that a prospect can just click on your phone number and you can have a call to action with that, saying like, click to call us, we're open, right? Things like that makes a lot of a difference. We've ran into a lot of websites that don't have clickable phone numbers. And it's a big problem because the likelihood of someone copying and pasting a phone number is basically zero. So they're not going to do it. Next thing here on mobile version versus desktop is less copy, more bullet points. Mobile versions need to be much easier to read and kind of a condensed version of your desktop. That's a huge thing here. And I think a lot of people miss that. As you can see in this fancy image I got from Google, you can see that the one on the left is just a big blurb of nothingness. People will log on to that and they'll be like, wow, I don't even know what I'm supposed to look at. The one on the right is a lot more condensed. I hope you guys get the point. Nothing too crazy. So they just want mainly bullet points.
And I'll add too, you know, we run into this too with some of our pages on our site. You want your font on mobile to be a little bit larger just because the screen size is so much smaller. And this is especially true if you're servicing folks who might be a little bit older as well.
Oh yeah, very true. Yeah, very true. The elderly definitely doesn't like the small text. I don't either though, so I totally get it. So that's another thing. And then just make bullet points. You know, there doesn't need to be any long paragraphs. Bullet points will suffice with all of your key selling points. That's huge. It's definitely one of those things that you just have to make sure is super dialed in. It's very, very important. All right. So next one here on a website is why you're different. What separates you from the hundreds of pool companies in your local service area? This one's very interesting. I think most people really kind of neglect this concept, to be honest with you. You really want to be able to sell to your strengths. So if you're a big pool company or a small pool company, if you're a huge pool company, you'll want to showcase how much better it is going with a large pool company, how you have office staff, how you have managers, how you guys are a huge pool company. You guys have new trucks. You guys are all CPO certified. You have licensed repair guys. You have all that stuff. you're going to want to sell to that. And you're going to want to explain why it's so much better to go with a big pool company. That one's just huge. It makes a lot of difference. If you're a small pool company, you'll want to understand and sell how great it is dealing with the owner directly, and how great it is that you won't have to call, pool troopers or pool man. Sorry to name drop. But, so a lot of those people have very bad reviews because of the fact that they have terrible customer service because they got too big, they scaled too quick, they acquired everybody under the sun, and they have terrible service. And I think all of us on this call probably know that, unless Pool Troopers is on the call, but hopefully they're not. So it's pretty simple. It's just really selling to your strengths as far as what you're, what you guys have, and making it the best out of what you guys have, which is awesome. So next one's going to be, how long have you been in the industry? If you've been in the industry for 5+ years, then you'll definitely want to say it. It's a huge selling point for customers with pool service. It's important to keep in mind like why they're shopping for pool service. Most of the time it's because their last pool guy, either hit them with the green pool, there was no communication, they messed something up. Usually it's probably not even the pool guy's fault. I think we all know that, but the list goes on pretty much forever. So they just want to see that the next person they're hiring is different and they're dialed in. So if they got burned by Pool Troopers, they land on your website and you say, hey, we're owner operated, meet Jeff, the owner. He's awesome. This is him. This is how long he's been doing it. All that good stuff. They're going to go with you all day long. So makes a big, big difference. Next one's going to be, are you licensed contractor or CPO certified? Definitely want to make sure that you guys put all that on there with your ROC number. If you guys are licensed and the CPO certified badge is just public on Google, I would 100% just put all that on there. People really like seeing those brands and all of those different things. Makes a really, really big difference. Obviously, we know that you don't need that to be a very good pool company, but they like seeing it, and we're here to just get them to inquire with us, and we got to play their game. So that's just how it goes. Next one's going to be humanize yourself. It's important to tell your story. People buy from people and not companies. So whether you're massive or small, you really just want to have a good blurb on your website or landing page, kind of about who you guys are, your values, why you started, what problems you're trying to solve in the pool industry. Yummy Pools is a good example. They have a money back guarantee, which is interesting. I bet they probably don't even have to do that very often, because they have a pretty good service, and they're one of our clients and they're very dialed in. And I think that's pretty cool because people aren't used to that. So if you have a no green guarantee, if you have anything that kind of separates you a little bit, then that's going to be really awesome to have. And just humanize yourself. We've had a lot of pictures with, the pool guy next to the truck with his technicians, and they're all doing a thumbs up, right? Which is an awesome image. And it's the same concept as what we have here. This is from one of our websites that we made, Who We Are. Talks about Rich, his family, why he's cleaning pools, why he started this company, how he's CPO certified. People like reading that. So it's definitely a huge deal. All right. This next one's pretty obvious, but it should be definitely taken seriously, to be honest. So clear list of services. It's extremely important to list the services you provide on your website. Pool service or pool repairs sometimes is not enough. Customers want to see exactly what you do so they know that you can solve the specific problem that they have. Heaters, pumps, filters, plumbing, resurfacing, tile cleaning. You guys can all read that. So kind of a big thing. It also does help with SEO when you have different pages for each one and you have specific content for each page, meaning that if they search up pool heater repairs in Scottsdale, Arizona, people that are good with SEO, they will go and that will direct them to a certain page talking about pool heaters, and all of those different keywords will be built in there and all the on-page SEO will be dialed in. That's another huge thing. So for our clients, however many services they have, we have people that do leak detection. We have people that do pool liner replacements, a bunch of stuff that's not necessarily super normal. We want to make sure that's all very specific, because when people land on that, they want to know that you solve their problem, not just repairs or service in general, if that makes sense.
Yeah, short-term rentals are a big one too. I know a lot of companies that do that, but they never say that they do that. And there's a pretty substantial opportunity for folks who are savvy with managing properties and dealing with property managers to move in their space, because property managers will go and search specifically for short-term rental pool service.
Yep. And same with commercial as well. Same with commercial. We have a lot of clients that don't want commercial, and that's definitely justifiable. But some of them do. For us, for example, we actually really liked commercial because it was really high. It was a high dollar amount per stop, which was cool. So we really liked it, but some people don't like it. which is totally fine. So next one here is real positive reviews. This one is actually really important. So if you do have a review like the one with the X, just go change it this weekend. I really recommend it because people don't really believe it. They think that it's not real, even though it probably is real. So it's kind of one of those things that's really weird. So social proof is one of the most important components in getting a prospect to convert into a new lead. They want to see real proof that others find your services top tier. So using real screenshots or embedding them for all of our clients, we either will use real screenshots and build it out to look really nicely, or we can embed them using, obviously software code, etc. Either one is totally fine. You want to provide at least 4 minimum. We have some pretty large clients that have hundreds and hundreds of reviews online, and we're providing 6 to 10 plus reviews. And we see a huge jump in conversion rates just based off of providing real reviews, because then they'll bounce off the landing page and they'll go Google you and they'll go see, oh, wow, Karen did leave you a 5-star review, right? So you'll get a lot of trust with that, and people, they just want social proof. Next one, choose longer ones that are specific. This one's definitely important as well. If you have different pages on your website, choose reviews for the pages that relate to that one. So like when we run ads for pool service, we're using reviews where they talk about the pool service. When we run ads for pool repairs, we're using reviews that talked about how great my repair guy was, right? So having them be super specific so they know, hey, I need my pool repaired. I am going to now use these people because these reviews talked about how Jim repaired my pool, right? Seems pretty obvious, but it definitely, sometimes the mark is missed on those, to be honest, but it's a really good one to do.
And by the
All
way,
right.
part of what we'll send out as part of the toolkit is some templates for collecting reviews that you can use via text or email. So be sure to check that email when we send it out tomorrow, because we've got some pretty tried and true, road tested scripts in there that you can copy and paste.
Yeah, super important. That's a huge question. We'll go pretty deep into the review stuff here as well by the end. We'll just get through some of this, and it'll only get better as we go on. So bear with us. So next one's going to be images on your site. Images are extremely important for prospective customers to connect with you. It's best to use real images rather than stock photos. I would yell this from the rooftops if I could. So a couple things on the right. These are basically, we've done these. These are some of our actual clients. We have Blue Water over there with one of his trucks. Really great company, awesome office, awesome guy. One of our best clients, really good guy. And that's both of his pictures on the bottom there. He had professional photography with some of these, and they've done so well on these landing pages and even Facebook ads and all this stuff. They've just killed it with these images. Next one's going to be like green to blue. Always do that. It's always nice. Doesn't have to be super crazy. The other one too is weekly pool report from Skimmer. We put a lot of these on our landing pages that we build for clients. It's a big thing. People really like seeing it. And I think honestly, a lot more actual customers are now thinking that it's normal to get a pool report after service. So if you don't do it, then you're kind of weird at a certain point, to be completely honest with you. So something that's super important. Other thing too is just branded attire. That's definitely a big one. So if you have technicians with branded attire, take some pictures near your pool trucks, get your fleet together, get all that stuff together and put it on your website, and you guys will see way better results. It's freaking awesome. We love to see it. All right. Next one, digital marketing landscape. This is where I think it gets a lot more fun than what we've been talking about, but this one gets really fun. So pool marketing overview. Tides are shifting in the pool marketing space. It's important to diversify your marketing channels. Relying on one marketing channel is often too inconsistent when it comes to results. Very true. Very true. So we're going to go over Google Ads, search and LSA, GMB, Google My Business, SEO, Facebook, Instagram ads, Yelp, Thumbtack, Angie's, and Nextdoor. Maybe not Nextdoor, but we can if we want to, but it's not really that complicated. All right. The lead vendors. This one is really fun, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have used these people before. I'm sure you guys have had some good experiences and probably some terrible experiences with these people. So we'll go over kind of all of it. First things first, they are definitely the easiest way to get immediate traction in the space, but they do have quite a few drawbacks. We'll go over all of it, and by the end of it, you'll be able to understand each platform and why some are good, some are bad, and kind of the positives and negatives on these. All right, Yelp, the most infamous one. Where do I start? So Yelp is definitely the most controversial lead vendor that exists online. There are some that thrive with them and some that get very let down. We have one client in specific who has hundreds of reviews on Yelp. They absolutely kill it, but they have also given away a lot of refunds and a lot of things to keep their stature on Yelp. So it's not easy because Yelp kind of fights against you. Yelp is super, super consumer based, not business based, even though we are the ones that pay them. So kind of a weird concept. We'll kind of get into how Yelp structures their ads. It's very interesting, the whole system, but you essentially set a daily budget and they will charge you per click to your profile. They sponsor your profile, they put it at the top of Yelp or on a display page. It's very hard to verify if the click is legitimate. There's really not much reporting on it. But it's just kind of what it is. I'm sure you guys have experienced Yelp calling you 24/7 as well, trying to get you to either raise your budgets or get you to sign up. So kind of a weird thing, but they basically just structure it like pay per click, but you set your daily budget. So it's not pay per lead at all. So you can actually spend a lot of money and not get any leads, which is interesting. Very weird concept. So upsells that Yelp pushes, things to kind of watch out for. So they charge pretty much for everything they possibly can. Everything under the sun they will charge you for. They charge you even $1 a day just to put your logo on there, which is pretty crazy. They have a bunch of stuff like restricting competitor ads. They have business highlights they'll charge you a few dollars a day for. So without even advertising, you could be up to like $200 a month just to be on Yelp. So very interesting. Yelp's algorithm is not a secret, but we should go over it anyways. So number one is going to be your response time to new leads. It should always be under 5 minutes. It should be very, very quick, if not like 30 seconds, which I know is sometimes hard to do. And they don't let you integrate with any automations, of course, to help that. So you have to all do it manually, which kind of sucks. And they won't really push your profile unless you are paying them. So if you just do organic, I don't recommend it. If you want to get any results, you're going to have to pay them, which, kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And the cheapest model is probably around $500 a month, give or take, where you'll be able to get some traction. But we have people that we know that are paying $5,000-$10,000 a month to Yelp. Pretty crazy times. So next one's going to be leads and shopping, and how the leads are shared, all that good stuff. If you run ads on Yelp and a customer clicks your ad, you will pay for that, like we said. Once they inquire for your offer, and in this case, it's weekly pool service, they'll submit their information and a box will be checked saying shop more competitor bids. They would have to unclick that box to then only opt in with you. Now, Yelp automatically clicks that box. What that box means is that it will now be shipped out to 5 more pool companies, sometimes 4, sometimes 5. So they're going to click, it's going to charge you money, and then it's going to ship that person to you in 4 or 5 more pool companies. Very interesting concept, but that's pretty much how it works. And obviously we know that Yelp people are just shopping, and it's tough because for our space, it's difficult because these people, you end up getting driven to the bottom with your price, which really sucks, because now you have guys that are 120, 110, 115, all these different prices that really don't make much sense anymore. And Yelp is probably one of the biggest culprits for that because people are just shopping based on numbers without even talking to people. I hope that kind of makes sense. Other thing too, with reviews, a lot of the reviews get hidden. The client that we have that has 200 reviews showing, he has a total of 550 reviews and only 200 of them show. And obviously the ones that show are definitely the 1 stars don't get hidden. Let's just say that, which is kind of funny how that works, but that's just how it is. So you really want to make sure you can get as many reviews on Yelp that you can. They also have a really, really tight algorithm that knows if you are sending out your profile. They know that how people are getting to your profile, so they will hide reviews if you try to have your friends do it. It's a very interesting thing, but that's definitely kind of the gist of Yelp. Nikki, is there anything else you'd want me to add with Yelp?
Yeah, I would just say, this goes true for all lead sharing services. For the ones that are sharing leads, it's typically going to be the first ones that get back to you that are going to have the most success. So if you don't have the bandwidth to monitor the incoming leads and respond to them right away, this is probably not the best option for you.
Yeah, that's very true. And lead vendors, like I said, it doesn't let you integrate with any sort of software that will help you respond, and that'll make more sense later on in the slides. So next one's going to be Thumbtack. This one is very similar. I personally, if you're going to go down this lead vendor rabbit hole, I think Thumbtack is probably the better option. I am not a huge fan of Yelp. I don't necessarily love the clients that Yelp brings, and I think probably a lot of you guys have seen that before. It's a certain type of person that, as pool people, we don't want them, and that's just how it is. So Thumbtack, I'll just kind of highlight quickly the differences as far as differences between Thumbtack and Yelp. There's no upsells, which is really nice. So Thumbtack is just a strictly pay per lead program, meaning that you set your budget, and if it's $15, $20, $30 a lead, they will not charge you more for that lead. That will be the max that you'll be willing to pay, and that's great. They will usually share it with 3 to 5 other companies. It's going to be kind of the same exact concept. They will share it with 3 to 5 other companies, and it's going to be, all kind of the same stuff. Nothing too crazy. The other thing that's kind of interesting with Thumbtack, so they do have an instant booking feature where you can, the customer can actually go through and they can book online for a certain job, like for example, pool service or a green to blue or a certain repair. We tried this for a brief minute. We've seen some clients try this. We kind of don't recommend it, mainly because someone can book you for a pool service and then you get there and the pool's green and they've paid you $130 for the first month. And now you're like, well, this is $600. And then they will get upset and they'll leave you a 1-star review, right? So we don't necessarily recommend that. I would stay away from the instant booking, in my opinion. I would just stick to the leads. Next thing here that's going to be kind of interesting is the Top Pro badge. So this one is really interesting, and I think it's really cool. If you get over a 4.8 rating with like 20, 30, 40 reviews, you'll get the Top Pro badge, and they will rank you higher because of that. But if you drop below that 4.8 rating, you'll kind of get slaughtered, and they will just tank you. So we've seen clients go from getting 3, 4, 5 good leads a week to getting like 1 or 2 because they got 2 or 3 1-star reviews. So that's something definitely to consider as well. But it's pretty much the same as Yelp. But overall, just to recap, I personally like it a little bit more than Yelp. So kind of is what it is, but it's definitely the lesser of 2 evils. All right, Angie's. This one is very interesting. It has a couple different programs that are definitely quite unique. So we'll kind of go into this briefly because I know I keep checking the time, but I think we've got like 20 minutes or so. So I think we're pretty good. This one's very interesting. They have a couple different programs. So they have pay per shared lead program, and they have a monthly territory program. Everything else is pretty much the same, except they require a contract in some cases, which nobody likes signing contracts. So I get it. First one's going to be pay per lead, pretty similar to Thumbtack. We've seen that it's a lot more expensive per lead, but the leads do go through more of a verification process. So the funnel that they put them through has more requirements as far as like your gallon of pools and all these different things. They need full address, they need everything, rather than Thumbtack is a little bit less information. So they're a little bit more verified as well through Angie leads. Pretty much the same thing though. So same thing as Thumbtack. Now, the next thing is going to be the monthly territory. That's a very interesting one. They charge between $500 and $2,000 per month to lock in a territory, and you will essentially just get leads in that territory whenever they come in. They do not guarantee you a minimum. They don't really often give you a real estimate as well. With that program, with the monthly territory, you will have to sign a 12-month contract usually. That's at least what clients have told us. We never paid for that stuff because we just obviously did our marketing in-house rather than paying the lead vendors, which it is what it is. But yeah, that's kind of the biggest one. There's no guarantees, 12-month contract, and you kind of get what comes to you if you do the territory program, and that's called Angie's Ads. And then Angie's Leads is the pay per lead model, just like Thumbtack. So hopefully that kind of makes sense there. All right, Facebook, Instagram ads. These ones are fun. So we like to say Facebook, Instagram ads are the new direct mail, but on steroids. This is extremely true. If they're done correctly, they can be very deadly. We use them to market our own agency, which like I said, I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen our Facebook ads. We spend a lot of money on Facebook ads and we love it. It's a really, really good program. We have a lot of clients on Facebook ads, dozens and dozens and dozens, and they all do get really good results. Some better, some worse, depending on the area and the country that you are, and obviously seasonality. But they're definitely one of the best exclusive lead sources in 2024 by far. So we'll go into testing creative, your copy, special, lead volume, and lead data, your CAC or cost per acquisition. So we'll go through a few of those. All right, Facebook ad creative. 2024, it's extremely important to have really good creative on Facebook. We've launched and tested 200 plus different creatives. We've done so many different creatives. We've tested with clients. We've tested them at our own pool company. We've tested them pretty much everywhere, which is really helpful to see. This is one that I made for the webinar. I'm not going to drop the actual ads that we do use for clients just because, I don't want to, have everyone making the same ones that they're using. But this is a really good example, right? So you always want to start with 6 to 10 creatives. You want to split test and see exactly what is happening. And you're going to want to see the cost per lead on each of these. You're going to want to see the click-through rate. You're going to want to see all these different things. And then you can eventually add and you can chop the ones that work and the ones that don't work, right? So like on this one, we're using Skimmer software image, which helps. We use that on probably 30-40% of our images for clients, our static image ads, which it helps a lot because people really like it, kind of stops the scroll, which is cool. Next thing that we like to do on Facebook ads is, like I said, again, use personalized and branded images. So using pictures of you with the truck, all that stuff, everything that we talked about with websites, it really does apply to these ads. We don't want them to be super canned. We don't want to go use some random Canva template. We want to make them custom and we want to make them, pop. And it's really, really important to do that, to be honest with you. All right. Okay, Facebook ad copy. Second most important thing with Facebook, Instagram ads is the copy. What location do you service? So call out in your headline exactly where you service, right? So if you service Orange County, California, say, hey, Orange County pool owners, you're going to want to see this, right? Pretty simple, but a lot of people don't even make that distinction. So you're going to want to call them out, whether that's in the image and the copy portion. We do both. We call them out in the image and the copy. Next one, obviously mention the city, kind of just said that. Mention the city, get specific. You can use different ads to target different cities and people will know, hey, these people service exactly where I'm at and this is exactly what I need. So why are you different than your competition? We kind of talked about that before, big versus small. Sell yourself really hard in these ads. You're going to want to come up with a few different bullet points for these. And it's going to be things like we're CPO certified, right? All these different things that you're going to want to come up with, we've mentioned for sure already. And like I said too, bullet points only, no long paragraphs. So you just want things to be super pointed, direct, and you want it to solve the customer's problem before they have it, or you're going to be referencing a problem they've already had in the past, right? We use a really good one. Are you tired of getting ghosted by your pool guy, right? That's one of the biggest complaints that anybody will ever get is they get ghosted. Or are you tired of your pool going green every summer? We have a no green guarantee, right? These are things that are not too difficult to promise, and they make a big difference with the prospect. All right, the fun part, lead volume. They can deliver really good leads, very, very high volume of leads if it's done correctly. So here's a couple of screenshots from one of our clients' ad accounts. This client specifically is, actually, I'm not sure where this one is. We'll have a case study on the next one. So recommended budget, minimum $750 a month. Seasonality, there's a little bit of seasonality with Facebook ads. March to October is probably the most optimal time just because more people are open to it rather than November through January, February. We run them year round for clients and they have good results. But if you're just starting and you're not super dialed in, then you're going to want to just try to stick to the hottest months, I think would probably be the best way to do it. We also recommend pool service only. We don't recommend doing repair ads on Facebook just because it doesn't really work. Most people will just use their current pool guy for repairs. Now, we've had success running a lot of ads for pool remodeling and for pool liner replacements. So those are things that you definitely can do. We've had clients that generate 10, 15 pool liner replacements a month off of only a couple $1,000 in spend, which is really awesome. Makes them a lot of money. It's very high ticket, which is really cool. So ads must run 24 hours a day. This one is super important. And we don't usually get pushback on this from clients, but it's mainly because we've kind of solved the problem of getting after hour leads. Facebook's algorithm favors these ad accounts that run 24/7 as opposed to trying to put time on it, because they want to get paid more, right? So, and there's a lot of people at 8, 9, 10 p.m. that are sitting there talking to their wife or husband, and they're like, man, our pool guy sucks. I really, really want to make sure we get a new one. And then they'll get an ad and then they'll inquire, right? So you want to just make sure that you can have an automated follow-up system built in for after hours. So for our clients, we build in, once someone clicks on the ad, they go to the form, they fill it out, they'll get a text message saying, hey, it's after hours, etc. But send us over your address and we'll get you taken care of in the morning once we get back in the office. So they'll wake up in the morning with a couple leads of people that already sent in their address and they're ready to roll. So that's something super important to do. If you don't have automated lead follow-up and you don't have a CRM built into this whole thing, personally, I probably would not run Facebook ads, in my opinion, because that's a really big part of it. All right. Oh, lead volume, 20 to 60 leads per month, depending on budget. We have some clients spending 5, 6, 7, 8,000 bucks a month, and they're getting a lot more than that, but they have a big budget. So if you're going to be 750 to 2,000 a month, you're going to get 20 to 60 leads a month. And we'll kind of go over what it looks like as far as closing those leads, percentages, and all that stuff on the next slide here.
I will say that we spend quite a bit of money advertising on Meta, and we have found it to be highly successful. We also do, Google and other things, but Meta, especially when it comes to things like hosting webinars, has been really great. I will also say, though, that it depends on your audience and where you're targeting. You can get pretty dialed in as far as who you want to target, what they care about, where they live. For pool service, it's a little different, obviously, because we're marketing to businesses, but for individuals, they have very, very, very good targeting down to age ranges, what they're posting about. If they mention the word pool in a message, even in a direct message to somebody else, that is a flag for Meta to start showing them. And I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you've been talking about something with somebody, and then all of a sudden you see ads related to that thing. Like they're very sophisticated in their methods and targeting.
Very, and it learns very well if you set it up correctly. So customer acquisition cost, this is a good kind of overview here. It's very important to look at what the actual marketing cost is to acquire a customer. You could have all the leads you want, but if no one closes, doesn't matter, right? Just burning money. And that's sometimes what like Yelp can be. So you're like, wow, I'm getting all these leads, but nobody is paying me any money. I'm just paying them. And that's not what we want. So a couple things here, 65% of conversions, meaning conversions is somebody that inquired and now pays you and they signed up for weekly service. 65% of them will happen within 3 days, 20% within a month, 10% after 2 months. This is all thanks to our lead automated system. This is a huge thing with Facebook ads because people need follow-up, and our clients are out in the field and all these different things, and they don't want to do it and they don't want to have to do it, and nor should they have to do it. So this is kind of a little image on the right side, 18 to 44 bucks a lead. There can be a big gap depending on where you are in the country. We try to make it as broad as possible. We have some people that are lower than 18, but that's just what it is. Conversion rate, really closing rate, 16% is what we've actually seen across the board, even with people that are really bad salespeople that are like 8%, and then people that are really good that are like 25, 30%. This is what we've seen. Customer acquisition costs $112 to $275. So this is the cost in marketing to acquire a new pool account. Now, obviously, these routes trade for $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 per pool. If you can acquire pool accounts for $100, $200, $300, even $400, you can print money because every single account that you acquire is going to be worth a lot more than what you paid for it. As long as you can keep the customer and you can keep building, you can eventually sell it, and you can pay, $20,000, $30,000 a year in marketing to gain $100,000, $200,000 of enterprise value in what those accounts are worth on the back end when or if you do sell it. All right. Here's a little case study.
Quick, go back one more slide. One thing I'll share, and this has been a topic that we've been paying close attention to is, how do you know how much your the value of your pool is worth. And in talking to brokers and to various folks in different markets, the going rate if you use a broker is typically going to be 12x the monthly service revenue. So whatever they're paying monthly, not including repairs, is going to be factored into that 12x number. If you are selling to an individual, that can be as low as 5 and go all the way up to 10. If you are selling a lot of accounts and have the text to go with it, you can expect to sell for a higher value. If you're just selling the route stops, that's a different conversation. And so when you think about acquiring a customer for $112 in this example, but they're going to be worth thousands more, especially if you factor in that service revenue, it totally makes sense, right? Like we think about this in our own marketing all the time. Like, what is the cost to get a lead in the door and convert a lead? And if you can track these and pay attention to these numbers, I think you'll find that even paying a little bit more, Casey from Yummy Pools, he's willing to pay up to $400 to secure an account because he plans on keeping them for a while and knows that he will get that money back within the first few months.
Yeah, and the bigger you get, the more they're worth. And that's a really cool thing in this space. They're worth a lot more when you have 1,000 pools than when you have 100, because people want to buy stuff that's already dialed in. So next one here, we're running short on time, y'all, but we're going to make it work. This is a good case study. This guy had a closing rate of 22.8%. He's in SoCal, really good guy. Not a super easy market in LA, kind of North LA. And this has been really interesting. It's been 45 days, 83 leads, $28 a lead, $2,300 spent. He's got 19 signed accounts. That's right around like $120 if I'm doing the math correctly in my head. $120 cost per acquisition, which is pretty awesome. There are no specials offered in this campaign. He shows his weekly service price on the image. So he doesn't have to give away the farm and say, here's 1,000,000 days free. Pretty straight up ad. We've tested like 8 creatives for him and they've done really well. And he does utilize our automated lead nurturing system, which is definitely very helpful for him because he is out in the field doing repairs. He has like 300, 350 accounts. If he's on this, I think he knows exactly who he is. But yeah, pretty awesome. Very, very cool. Very good guy. And he's done really well with Facebook. So we're happy to showcase and he gave us permission. So, all right, next one, Google Ads. All right, I'm going to run through this one. All right. Okay, so Google Ads, you can pretty much buy your way to the top of Google. So you don't have to worry about SEO and having things take a long time. You can essentially buy your way to the top. And this is a really interesting concept. We're going to go through landing pages, keyword research, writing your copy. Okay, so we're going to go through kind of the main stuff here because we are running a little bit short on time. I know Nikki warned me and you know what, you were right. All right, so landing page versus websites. We kind of went through this a little bit. It's kind of like mobile versus desktop, where landing pages should be short and simple and to the point and be highly targeted to whoever's clicking your ad. They need to have relevance that passes through, and the landing page needs to be talking exactly to the person, right? If they typed in pool service, they need to go to a pool service landing page. If they type in pool repairs, they need to go to a repair landing page, not a landing page that is just basic, encapsulating everything. So that's definitely something that is going to be kind of a big deal. All right. Keyword research, choose the right keywords. This is pretty self-explanatory. I could talk about this for 5 hours, but we're not going to do that. The bidding system is a pay-per-click system. So you bid against other people that want your keywords. So pool cleaning service near me, et cetera, et cetera. There is a bid tied to each of these. And the higher you bid, the higher up you will be and the more often you will show, because Google wants to show you because you pay them more than the next guy. So there's a lot of strategy behind this. We've tested this obviously quite a bit. We have hundreds of keywords that convert really well. And then we have a big list of negative keywords that obviously we don't want to show up for. So we do all that for our clients. They don't have to worry about any of this stuff. Maybe we can do another webinar on exactly how to do this and a whole Google thing, because this would be multiple hours. Writing your ad copy, pretty much the same as Facebook, very, very similar. You want to do as many ads as you possibly can with a little bit different messaging on each one. That's going to be super, super important, just to make sure that the audience is resonating with one. Once they resonate more with one and it has a higher click-through rate, it will then start pushing that one a little bit more. You can either shut the other one off or not. It's going to be really, really important to do that. Google Ads campaign types. We have custom search campaign. That is what we do. Smart campaign is maybe what you guys might have done in the past. This is really, really easy to set up. We don't really recommend smart campaigns because it's essentially giving Google the wheel, saying, hey, do what you please with my money. We don't really recommend that because they just want to spend your money. So when you have custom search campaigns, they are a lot more hands-on, not very automated, and we put a lot of work into them to make sure and kind of force them to be good campaigns. And we recommend, if you want to do Google Ads yourself, learn about search campaigns, not smart campaigns. Google Ads case study, we'll run through this one really quick. Google Ads have a really high conversion rate as far as closing from lead to actual signed up pool account. This one's a really good example of a client, 49.17% closing rate. We see people between like 40 and 55% all the time. These people are inbound, right? They're searching for pool service. When they call, they're ready to go. The only reason they wouldn't convert is usually price, but most of the time they will convert into a really, really good client. They are better than Facebook, but they are also more expensive. You can see this one was $78 a lead, but the cost per acquisition, or CAC, is $159. So they don't need that many leads to get pool accounts, which is really cool. This person in particular is a B+ salesperson, probably not as good as the first guy on Facebook, but pretty good. It's been a pretty good campaign. This looks like it's been about, let's see, like 6 months or so. And yeah, pretty simple, but pretty easy to kind of understand. The only special that was offered was 50% off the first month. And in summer, we're going to probably remove that. So we should be good to go. There should be no specials, but either way, $159, just like Nikki said, turning that into $2,000 over and over and over is pretty crazy. We took the model of, we acquired a lot of accounts. Biggest month we acquired 87 accounts through paid ads, and we sold accounts off along the way, and then had a larger exit at the end. But we kind of just got as many as we can and then started selling them off in-house without route brokers. All right, Nikki, I'm going to go through this one briefly. LSA. If you guys watched Casey Graham's, he uses LSA and he talked a lot about it, which is kind of cool. This one, you have to have either an ROC license or CPO certification in most states to allow it. The difference with this is it's a pay per lead structure with Google, and it's just heavily, heavily based on reviews. And it's very important to answer all of the phone calls. Very, very important. If you don't answer calls, they will just dock you and they will not send you anything and you won't show up. It's basically this image here on the right showing Google guaranteed, and you'll see a lot of people with a lot of reviews have it. We help clients set this up all the time. Even if they don't have that many reviews, they'll still get some results, but reviews are just super, super important for this one. It's really, really a big deal because you'll get ranked a lot higher and they'll show you a lot more often. And if you answer the phone, they will also show you more often because they only charge you when you pick up. And that's a big thing. They want to charge you. All right, Google My Business. Google My Business.
If you don't have this, set it up, folks. You literally can go to Google My Business and create a profile and link your website and drive people to write reviews. That's the important thing here. Folks who have listings on Google Business that they set up tend to do really well, especially if you can add pictures, especially if you have your locations that you service listed there. Definitely highly recommend making sure that you have a Google Business profile and then responding to any reviews that come in too.
Yep, it's huge. And that's something that we're going to go over on this next one as well. Make sure you have a branded email domain and tie that in. You can make pool care related blog posts and tie that to your website as well. This is general SEO knowledge. We do offer this to clients. We rolled it out actually pretty recently, and it's a pretty good product. It's definitely a longer term play. It's not as quick as Google or Facebook, but it will work over time. So 3 map pack. This one's really interesting. I'll go through this pretty briefly. Biggest things here is going to be a high volume of 5-star reviews. You need to respond to all of your reviews every time, and you should encourage clients to attach pictures and add your products and services to your Google My Business page. Super important. Make sure to set up client messaging as well. Link up your socials to your Google My Business. That's another thing. Set up your business description thoughtfully. Don't just put a bunch of random stuff in there. Make sure you set it up and really, give it some actual thought rather than just some random stuff. And then do the Q&As on there as well. So you can ask your own questions and then answer your own questions of things that you think people might ask. And then also you can integrate keywords within those as well. So this is the last one pretty much. I'm going to go through this real quick.
Good, because it's 2:02. You are over time, Ryan, just a friendly reminder.
I really did it. I almost did it though. So this last one here is Google reviews. We get asked this question a lot from clients. How do we get more reviews? This one's a really, really interesting one. So if you're a client of ours, we can help set up an automated workflow after new client onboarding. So we can set up all these different stages to where they get trigger texts that will link back to your Google. And you can say, hey, how was the onboarding process? Hey, you've been with us for a month. How has it been this month so far? Jim was your pool tech. I hope you really love him. And by the way, if you leave us a review, we give Jim a bonus every time that someone leaves a review for him. So we'd really, really appreciate it. It means a lot. And we'll send you some of these templates in the marketing toolkit after this. So you'll have some of those actual texting templates that we've actually used in the past as well. So next one is a really interesting one that people, I don't know if they utilize. Make sure with Skimmer for work orders, when you require a picture, etc., after a work order, you can also set it to where you can send an email. In that email, we always put our Google review link in that email. So like filter cleans, salt cell cleans, minor repairs, things that are high volume. Just say, hey, we would love for you to leave us a Google review. If you're happy with it, they'll see a picture before and after of a DE or cartridge filter clean. They'll be like, wow, this is great. This looks so good. You're asking for the review right below in the Skimmer email that goes out to them automatically. We recommend putting the Google review link in that exact email that goes out to them, and then offer them even a little special discount if they do the review link within 24 hours. That's huge, big thing. Next thing is going to be just a QR code. We put that on our technicians' phones, and we give them bonuses. We've paid out thousands and thousands of dollars for good reviews online to our technicians back when we had the pool company. We're happy to pay them. It's an awesome way for them to make more money. And obviously we get a lot of reviews from it. All right, we did it. 4 minutes to spare.
Quick recap. 4 minutes. What does your clock say? Mine says we're 4 after the hour. Yeah.
We're 4 after the hour. Yep. Okay.
Look, there's a big opportunity if you want to spend money. If you don't have the resource to do it, obviously there's companies like Pool Monopoly who are totally willing to help you. Make sure your brand's on point. Make sure you're getting those reviews and asking reviews from wherever you can. Results are going to vary. It's important that you understand that the longer that you're running ads, the more that you're testing on those ads and improving those ads, the better outcomes that you will have. So if you're not seeing results in month 1 or month 2, give it a minute, because it often takes time for the algorithm to adapt and adjust for you to get the outcomes that you desire. Obviously, we're here to help you automate and simplify your day-to-day tasks. If you have any questions about Skimmer, definitely give us a call. We are really trying to help folks work on the business, not in it. That's what we are here to do, is help you build a better business. And we know that requires time, and we know that you are busy. So leverage the resources that you have with us and with folks like Pool Monopoly. We do have a special offer for Skimmer customers. So typically, a website, including hosting and design, is $199 with Pool Monopoly. We are running a special with them. Custom websites with hosting will be $99 per month if you sign up by July 31st. And by the way, this is not the $99 price is only good for a few months and then it goes up. This is for the length of the time that you spend with Pool Monopoly managing your website. You will lock in a price of $99 per month. They offer CRM services, they do logo design, they do Google ads, local service ads, all the things that you see here in this list. We know not everyone can be an expert in this stuff. It's super heady. The algorithms are constantly changing. So if you are interested in learning more, feel free to visit poolmonopoly.com/skimmer. If you can furnish them a screenshot of your Skimmer account, they will honor that $99 per month price for the website component.
Yep, this is all true. If you guys want to book a call with our guy, some of you guys might have already talked to Logan before in the past. He can run through all of our products, pricing, things that he might recommend for kind of where you guys are at in the stage of your company. We have different things for everybody, and it's pretty cool. We have different things that might fit a big company, a small company, etc. So you guys can book a call. We're happy to chat. We are full in a lot of territories, so definitely keep that in mind. If we are super full, then we'll let you know and we'll put you on a wait list. But if we're not full, we're happy to run through everything, kind of what to expect, our pricing, how much we recommend spending. We'll get even a lot more deeper. Logan knows pretty much everything about this space, and he's happy to kind of help take your call and answer any questions. And we cleared out his calendar for you guys. Usually he's talking to a lot of people every day, but we cleared it out, and he's pretty open to get some stuff dialed in. And I already see a bunch of calls being booked on my phone.
Yeah, someone said they couldn't reach the site, but there may be a typo. I just dropped that chat in. We do have a lot of questions here that that I think we will absolutely. This is actually really good stuff for blog content and additional content. We are working on some additional webinar content, including one on sales operations that we've been tossing around. Like, how do you improve your lead flow? You know, how do you seal the deal? What do you do when you're on site? What kind of automation can you do to ensure a faster, smoother, more successful sales process? We also have some HR topics on hiring, training, and retaining employees. We've got a great contact for that. We've got another one that wants to talk about 1099 versus W-2 employees, like contractor versus employee, and the caveats for that. So we're always coming up with new content, but we're here to serve you. So if you have an idea, when you get the email with the recording tomorrow, please feel free to send it. If you would like to stick around, we will now take your questions. If you have to go, thank you for sticking with us for this long. Do you cater to pool construction companies? Yes, Ryan has worked with various folks in the pool industry, including folks who do construction, remodels, repairs, liner replacements, etc. How important is using Google Guarantee over regular ads? Is it worth it?
It is important. We have a lot of clients that do both. The thing with LSA, which is Google guaranteed, is it doesn't really scale. So like even for huge companies, the max that Google will really let you spend is like 1,500 to like 2,500 a month. But with Google search, we have clients that are spending 10, 12, 15,000 a month because we're able to scale it. So if it's enough to just spend 1,500 to 2,000, then that's great. We've seen our search campaigns outperform LSA at times. But most of the time it's pretty even keel, not too much of a difference really at all. Just personal preference, but adding it on is always good.
Awesome. What do you think about trying to close a lead on the phone or on the website itself?
On the website, as far as like e-commerce functionality, we have not tested that yet. We have some clients that actually want us to roll that out, which is something we're thinking about. If that's very successful, maybe we can do another webinar on that, which is pretty cool. But on the phone, we highly recommend it, to be honest. For us, we never closed anybody in person just because the time it would take to have a salesperson driving out to 5, 10 people's houses a day. We did it all over the phone. We did it with e-sign. We took credit cards over the phone to make sure it's secure, put it into an encrypted file, got them on auto pay, and we're good to go. So we did all of that over the phone.
You also asked for photos first via text or email, right?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
We asked for photos of the pool and pictures of the equipment as well.
Okay, I sell service packages that range from chems only to full service plus. Would you recommend for the mobile site to list the highest price first?
I don't recommend
would you
putting
list
prices.
The lower price? I
don't even recommend putting prices on there. I would maybe recommend for something like that, you can do a headline on the main site saying our pool service, our weekly service can start at XYZ per month, and put that at the lowest one. So if you're, let's say chems only is $100, just say it starts at $100. And then when you get them on the phone, it'll make them want to call more. And then once they're on the phone, you can let them know that that was chems only. And then you can try to upsell them into different things that might make you more money.
Great. Thank you that was a good response. I tried to advertise on Facebook, but I didn't get any results outside of scammers. How long does it take to start seeing results?
If done correctly, you should get a lead within 2 or 3 days. So it's a lot of how you structure them. We hear that all the time. People always tell us like Facebook doesn't work, and then we'll show them case studies and we're like, hey, it might not have worked based on the way that you did it, but we have ways that it does work. We put a lot of tech into it on the back end, and it works really well for people. But yeah, it definitely does work.
On the scammer topic, I will share that like we get our fair share of scammers too. It's just part of doing business on social media.
Yeah. It's mainly volume. Facebook's a volume play. So, I mean, I would say about 85 to 90% of our people that inquire on Facebook for our clients running ads for them 85 to 90% of them have a pool and are interested. There will be the 10 to 15% that somehow accidentally inquired for pool service, which is crazy to think, like must be blind, but here we are. 85, 90% should be accurate.
Great. Do you find putting the price on the ads leads to high conversion rates?
Depends what
Putting
your
the
price is.
Right.
That's a big thing. So like if we try to sell to our customer strength, as far as if we have some customers that charge a lot, definitely way more than market value, we won't be putting the price on their ad, right? We would maybe put something else, right? Like a no green guarantee or no skip stops guarantee, or maybe they want to do a free filter clean, or maybe the first month free, right? But if the price is good and it's a little bit lower than market, we will then put it on there. But if the price is not great and it's higher, which we recommend having high prices, we don't tell people to be cheap. But if it's high, then we don't. If it is low, then we do.
But also raise your rates.
Yeah, you
It's good
should
for the
raise your rates.
industry, right?
It is. Everyone
What is
needs to.
what is your recommended ad budget per month for Google Ads?
Minimum 1,500 a month. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend anything less than 1,500. Facebook, you can get away with about 750 to 1,000.
We started working with a marketing agency a couple months ago. It's been great. However, we're having trouble growing in terms of having the capacity to take on more clients and expand new areas. Do you have any recommended ways of going about this? I think the automation helps for sure, right?
Yeah, automation helps. I would say the number one reason people ever cancel our service, which we're month to month, so we don't lock people in contracts, but the number one reason is that they get a little too overwhelmed and they can't hire people, which is totally understandable. I would always recommend, at least with us at our pool company, we always had a floater and we had a person training people at all times. So, but we also knew we were going to get 30, 40 plus accounts a month coming in. So we staffed accordingly for that. Automation will also help as far as automating your lead process, making sure signups are easy, they don't take too long, and then utilizing Skimmer to be able to have really good tags and really good work orders scheduled for first initial cleans. For example, we would set people up to where they would be getting a 45-minute first initial clean to make sure everything's really dialed in. We'd use a pink tag saying initial sign up clean. This is something that definitely helps quite a bit and just getting more organized, but scaling shouldn't be too hard. We have some clients that are getting 1,000 pools a year organically through marketing. Granted, they're spending a lot of money, but they're doing it and they're hiring and they're constantly training. That's the only thing you can do is train and hire more.
Yeah, at that point, if you don't have the capacity, I'd say pause your ads until you do have capacity, for sure.
Yep. But now's the time in summer. That's the thing. Now's the time in summer, and if you're not going to do it in summer, it's a lot harder in winter. So,
Ryan, a great question for you that you probably have a great answer for. What is the best way to sell up accounts along the way in-house? How much are you able to sell them for?
We sold all of ours at close to 10x. It was spread out, but our average was like probably 9.8x without any commissions. We ran ads pretty much everywhere, just like how we run ads to get clients, get agency clients, and then get pool accounts. We run ads everywhere. We put them on a call booking funnel, so they would book a call with me, and we would talk to them. And we have an office here, at least we did, and they would come in and they'd meet with us, and we ended up selling to probably like 8 different people, six to 8 different people. We had some small ones like $20,000, but that's how we did it. We would run ads pretty much everywhere, just like what we spoke about, and we would just get them in the door and sell it to them. A lot of them were considering franchises. And then went with us to get actual accounts, but we're able to sell it like 10x.
What is an example of what one of your ads said, copy-wise? I'm curious.
Don't use a pool route broker.
Buy a route today. That's
Yeah,
great.
buy a route in-house. We threw up landing pages pretty much everywhere. So we ran ads across, pretty much. The only thing that's tough is that we really only ran ads in the state that we're in, because we don't want to run ads outside of that because there's no one that wants to buy it. So here we're running ads on Google and Facebook saying buy a pool route in-house for a steep discount. And it's really not even that steep of a discount. It's basically just route brokers charge 2x monthly. We can do 10x and we don't need to pay them 2x, and we end up getting the full price of the routes. And we did this along the way. So we always had routes up for sale, and we would go and get 50 accounts, and the next month we would sell off 50 of them for $80,000. And we would just continue doing that.
More dialed
Yeah, and
in,
we would sell off the ones that we don't want. We would sell off the ones that were, XYZ. A lot of the times maybe we lose a technician on the west side. We'll go list that one for sale. We'll get a buyer within 2-3 weeks. we're a lot more sophisticated marketers than the route brokers. No shade at them, but that's just kind of how it is. So it was pretty easy to sell them off in-house.
Paco wants to know if you help sell routes.
Um, that's a good question. I've helped a lot of our clients sell routes for free. We don't charge people. You know, maybe there's something coming in the future. Wink, wink. But
Right.
people shouldn't be paying so much for route brokerage. So if I were to ever start a route brokerage, I can tell you that it would be a lot cheaper than what they're charging. But if you're a client, we can help you. We can help you for free.
Hey, Brian, is it possible to get a bad Yelp review removed?
Oh God. I wish. No, it's not really at all. No.
I think the best thing to do when you get a bad Yelp review is to give a thoughtful response and an offer to
And
make it
then
right.
also contact the customer and honestly just offer them money and be really, really nice and say, we're so sorry. I can't believe this happened. You were totally right. What can I do to change your mind? And don't ask them to remove it, because if you ask them, they will get even more mad, but just do something really nice for them and hope that they will remove it themselves. We've gotten 3 or 4 removed. And by removed, I mean, they've changed it. We had one lady change it from a 1-star to a 2-star. That was very giving. But
I
yeah.
will say though, if you read something and it's all 5-star reviews, it seems, I don't know, that it can almost be less credible, right? Like, I think the
Yeah,
best way to overcome bad reviews is to drown them out with more positive reviews.
and just leave a nice comment, like Nikki said. Don't blast them back. Just kind of try to play the victim, and just say this is, not normal, and we totally empathize, and et cetera, et cetera. And
Yeah,
good luck.
most people just want to be heard, right? What is the
That's it.
best way? There's 2 questions actually. What's the best way to target a specific neighborhood or a specific city on ads?
Well, you can select them on both platforms, Google and Facebook. You get to select the radius, and we set it up to where we actually make the radiuses outside of your radius. We block them. So a lot of the times people will not, they really will not get that much stuff that's outside of the radius, which is super helpful. So we target them all. There's a spot when you're setting up ad sets to be able to target and do a radius of exactly where you want to be. And there's a couple settings on the back end that will help dial it in even more as well.
And is that radius based on, I'm sorry, is that based on like a physical single address or is it based on zip codes?
It's essentially just anything inside of that radius. You can do either one. So like Google, you can put in a mass amount of zip codes. You can draw a radius. You can do whatever you please.
Ooh, drawing a radius. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Do you offer any Zoom call consultations for someone that's just starting out? A lot of your clients are new clients, right?
Yeah, if you sign up with us, we give you free coaching, anything you need. So clients that sign up with us for agency services, pretty much anything. We don't charge extra for these things. Reese, my business partner, talks to people all the time about how to scale their pool company, hiring, firing, daily operations, chemicals, trucks, every single thing. We help people for free with that. We don't really charge for it or do any sort of like per call stuff. But yeah, if you book a call with us, you can talk, and we can help try to solve any problems you have and help you get started. We've gotten a lot of people that have requested that, to be honest with you. Maybe we should start offering more of a consulting service, but we pretty much do it for free.
All right, we've got a couple more questions and we're almost done. If you're still around and you have a question, feel free to pop it in the Q&A. Someone wants to know why you got out of the pool business yourself.
Well, that's a really good question. Honestly, it wasn't necessarily me that wanted to be completely honest. Reese, we went through a lot in the pool business. We had a lot of kind of sometimes bad technicians. We've had people take our trucks, steal our trucks. We've had multiple car crashes. We've had DUIs, and a lot of you guys have probably had the same thing. For us, we got to this point where we were like, what should we do next? We considered buying a pest control company. We've considered a lot of different things. What happened really is that we ended up selling our routes in-house to people, and then they asked us for marketing services after. So we ended up having this weird transition where we sold off these routes to 5, 6, 7, 8 people, and then they would be like, "Can I pay you for marketing?" And then we're like, "Okay, sure, why not? We'll do it." And then they were really happy, and then we were like, "Okay, maybe we should just see if we can get more clients doing this." And it kind of worked out pretty well. We love the pool space, and I would always consider owning another pool company, but it definitely gets really difficult at 3, 4, 5, 600 pools. It's not easy.
But
Reese
also you're
almost
really
has
good. You're also
gray
good
hair
at
already.
marketing too.
Yeah,
So
I'm a better marketer than pool guy, honestly. So I'm not that good at cleaning pools.
do you offer marketing services to tile cleaning business folks?
Definitely. Definitely. Tile
Yes.
cleaning
I've
is an
seen
awesome
pool
space.
liners, tile cleaning. Uh,
Congratulations for doing tile cleaning. We love that space. People can make a lot of money doing it. It'll kill it on Facebook with really good video. We definitely can help with
my
that.
mom's been looking for someone to clean her tile in El Paso, Texas, if anyone's listening and wants to email
That's
Nikki
funny.
at getskimmer.com. How important is it to keep posting regular social media content?
Y'all want me to be completely honest with you? Not
Yes.
very. Um, Not very important. Organic social media is kind of dead in my opinion. I wouldn't really bother posting that much stuff. I would say definitely run ads, and that makes sense. But posting organic stuff won't really work that well. So
I've noticed the
I
same,
I
especially on
wouldn't.
Facebook. Like there's not a ton. I will
Yeah,
say that stories and reels tend to do better than static social media content. It seems like there's not a lot of eyeballs on the static stuff unless someone like comes to our page and scrolls through our feed, but it doesn't
yeah.
look like a lot of that stuff is making it to other people's feeds, just
But
generally speaking.
if you run ads to your Instagram and to your Facebook, and you're running ads just like that, and people come and they look at your page because they came from an ad, it is nice to have a bunch of images on there, right? At least like 6 to 12 images to fill up all the blocks. So they click on your page and you're like, oh, okay, this is a real pool company. They got a bunch of images, and then they inquire. But they got to your page because of an ad, not organically. So
Yeah, and to that end, there's some great companies out there. One in particular that posted, we launched service text, and they're like now offering service text, and they had like a little image for it. Having that kind of stuff with your differentiators, that you send service emails, having,
yeah,
customer testimonials on there,
big
having,
one
lifestyle shots of employees and celebrating, your employee culture, like all that stuff will help when someone does come to your page.
for sure. It'll help a lot. It's pretty awesome.
Uh, Oh boy, I'm trying to, this is a long question. When it comes to social media, our primary goal is to showcase visually the quality of our work, allowing potential clients to validate and appreciate the value we bring. We take pride in our services, and our social media presence reflects that. However, from my perspective, it seems that people on social media may be more interested in seeing content other than pools. Despite our efforts to post captivating images of our green to clean or pool transformations and inform our audience, we're not seeing much engagement from the general audience. We've never utilized ads before, and I'm uncertain if investing in social media ads would effectively attract commercial pool clients. What additional strategies or content types could we incorporate into our social media approach to better engage our audience and potentially attract more commercial pool clients organically?
That's a good question. So the reason you're not getting people organically is not because of your content. It's just because organic doesn't really work anymore. It's not your content. You probably have really good content, but it doesn't matter because it's not going to get pushed to anybody for them to see it, right? As far as commercial will not really work on Facebook. The thing that will work on for commercial is going to be Google. So setting up keywords for a commercial campaign on Google can actually yield good results. A lot of property managers will type in commercial pool service near me, etc. We do have a few campaigns that cater towards mainly commercial as well.
Or
Or we do,
HOAs
yeah,
or things of that
HOAs,
nature, right?
apartment complexes, all those country clubs, all those different things. Google's going to be your best bet. Running ads on Google will be the best bet to get those coming in the door. And you're not going to get like 50 leads a month. You might get a few a month, but over a year, you might get, 5, 10 new commercial accounts coming in, which could yield a lot of revenue.
Great. All right, two more, and I think we're done. Where do you find employees growing that quickly in 2 years, and how are you able to train them that fast? That's a good question.
It's a question for Reese. We ran a lot of ads on Indeed. We spent a lot of money on Indeed to get to the front of the line. The thing that we did is we didn't really hire people with experience. So we ended up having a really good person, like our second, third technician that was able to train people. We hired people with no experience, and we hired for personality, not a resume. So we got a bunch of young guys that were really awesome. And yeah, we let them train for 2, 3 weeks or so, paid. And from there, we kind of let them go. And we have a lot of SOPs and chemical sheets and do's and don'ts and all this stuff that they have to get through in order to be able to actually service pools. But it is not easy at all. We spent a lot of money on Indeed. Reese did a lot of interviews, hundreds of interviews. It's a full-time job just doing that.
Thank you for answering that. And that is something we hope to cover in a future webinar, by the way. Last question. Ryan, who's your favorite basketball player of all time?
Oh, Steve Nash.
Steve Nash. Okay.
That's an
Big
easy
fan
one.
of Manu Ginobili and Steve Nash can move on the floor. I saw them play in a playoff game and they were amazing. I think that's it.
Cool.
Thank you to those of you who stuck around. If no one else has any other questions, we're going to go ahead and call it. Thank you again so much. And if you would like a skimmer demo, feel free to reach out to us on our website. Everybody
good.
say
Thank you,
bye.
everybody. Thank you, guys.
Oh, and we have, if you attended this, we will do a drawing for the free website. In fact, I'm going to go take all the names of all the attendees and put them in a spinner and record it. And we will announce the winner on our social media feed by end of day and reach out to the winner directly.
Beautiful.
All right.
We're looking forward to it. Thank you, everybody.
Yep. Bye.